Hey friends, and we're back with another one. In this video, we are going to be checking out Ginger Dread's reflexes. If you've seen that, I was so proud of that. I even zoomed in for you guys on that one. Once again, it is early in the morning, so please forgive the sound of birds or cats that you might hear in the background, because that is the life I live, and I am surrounded by animals, and they make their presence known for you guys. In this video, though, we are going to be doing resin. I know I just did a resin video, but I believe that resin video was about stones. I will link that video up top. I also used a different product, which was art resin. I don't use that product anymore. I only use this stuff right here that I will add a pop-up to in this video. This fucking stuff is amazing, you guys. Like, if you want a hard coat, if you want a hard top, if you want that shit to really feel like a piece of glass, it's this stuff right here. I learned about this stuff from Instagrammer that I am friends with on the gram, and she does not keep secrets either. She's no secret Sally, and I love Denise to death for that. She has always produced some of the most sparkly, shiny pieces of fucking art that you can see on the gram, and I don't know, I just got tired of seeing all her beauty and needed to know what she was using. I was using art resin for a really long time, and I will just stress to you guys, the curing process of art resin is like never curing. It is a very soft resin, so I could have that shit cured for 6 months and still turn around and put my nail in that fucking piece. It was the most annoying piece ever. But if you are going to use that and hang it on a piece that you're going to put on the wall or something, I highly recommend art resin. It was my first resin that I used, so I have obviously a bias for that resin, but I just prefer to use this one now. Say hello to Wallace, you guys, so he will shut the fuck up, because he thinks that he needs to have his presence known in this video too. This resin, it's a 1-to-1 ratio, as with the other resins that I've used. I haven't used any of the resins where you have to use like a scale or anything. Mine are all just a 1-to-1 ratio. What you will see in this video, don't do that, because what I do, I don't suggest that you guys do. I only tell you the things that you should do, but what you see with your eyes, don't necessarily do, because don't. I don't even know if I should do them. But what happens is, this resin video was done during the time where it was cold. And if your resin isn't hot, I didn't show you, but I have a little, what are they called? Like room heaters or space heaters or something like that, heaters. And I had my resin set in front of that heater prior to me even starting this project, because if I don't, my resin will set so fucking hard in the cabinets. Because I live in an RV, I've stressed that to you guys enough. The temperatures in here aren't as they are in a normal house. Therefore, if it's cold outside, it's stupid fucking cold in here, and then the resin will harden, or it stays at a different temperature, which is a temperature that we can't really use for. It's just a pain in the ass to deal with. So I had already set them down in front of the heater, and that basically like warms them. I do know they make resin warming pads and shit, but I'm not going to invest in any of that shit, because I have a space heater and it works the same. So if you have a little heater that you can just set your resin in front of when it's too cold, just do that. Don't invest in that extra little fancy shit. Just like they have a resin stir thing, you know, it spins the resin around so that you don't manually have to do it. Just fucking do it yourself. It makes it all the same. You don't have to invest in that stuff. Unless you can, then by all means go for it. But if you can't, you do not need that stuff. Promise you, I've done enough resin to show that you don't need it. Now, what you see me doing is like placing the resin onto the back of that wood. I will have poured a little bit on there, and then I take that little, I want to say that's like a butter knife. It's not a butter knife, but it is a butter knife. It came with the old set that my Grammy had gave me, and it was like really fancy, and I probably should have kept it in the kitchen, but I didn't. I use it for resin, and it works fucking amazing, and it cleans off really good too, because alcohol cleans resin like a dream. Yeah, invest in alcohol. That's one thing I will say that you do need to make sure that you have plenty of on hand. That and those gloves right there. And if you know, I do have on a mask and all that fun shit, but I don't show that just because you don't need to see that all closed up when you can see what I'm actually doing, which is putting resin on wood. That's the part that's important. But if you see, I have my gloves on. I do have on a mask. My windows are open and I have a fan that is blowing the stuff outside. So it's like sucking the fumes away from me and blowing them out the door. Most of this video is done in real time. I will have stressed when the video starts in real time, because I know in the very beginning I do a big speed up of it. The rest of the video is in real time. And then when I do parts that are sped up, I will have put words up throughout this video. I'm only doing that to show you once again how slow this process is. Nothing that involves art is fast. And that's another thing that you have to just learn to deal with is patience. Everything that you do is going to come with a process of time. And if you don't have that time to do that process, don't do it, because it's going to cause frustrations. It's going to cause anger, and it's going to cause you to think that you don't know what the fuck you're doing. When you do, you just didn't have enough time. So if you see my turtle mode that I'm in, that's how I usually work. And not that I work slow, because if I'm doing a real fucking job, I'm going to do it hella fast. But with my art, it is all intuitively done. And so when I say I work slow, it's because I'm working intuitively. I don't want anything to be done as a mistake of me being rushed. I rather the mistakes happen because the fairy gods of resin just didn't like me that day, versus the ignorance of ginger dreads fucking up her own shit, if that makes sense. So again, take your time when you do your art. Don't rush anything, because everything comes with time, regardless if it's learning how to do it or actually doing it. You got to have that time to do it, so you don't want to feel rushed. Again, so let me rush through this little part of, I don't feel like I gave you enough information about this. In the very beginning, we had the resin out. You do a 1-to-1 ratio. So that means 1 part's A, 1 part's B. I didn't show you like which one was A and which one was B, but one has a black lid, one has a white lid. Make sure that you know which ones you're mixing. Set them completely aside once you pour them in the cup. You will mix that resin for like 5 minutes. I give everything a mixing for 5 minutes. You're not going to see that in the video. I speed through it and I cut some of that out because the repetitiveness, you'll get tired of it. You'll click off by the time I get that shit mixed. But I do mix it for 5 minutes. Sometimes I'll mix it for longer. I don't really fucking care. I want to make sure that there's no mistakes on my behalf for that resin not being mixed properly, because you'll know that when you finish a piece and it goes to not cure the next day, you'll know it was because you didn't mix your resin properly. So now you'll see that you stir that shit for 5 minutes and then you set it aside for 10. Put a little cover on it, set it aside. Once you set it aside, it's going to basically marinate within itself. It's going to marry. The two chemicals are going to start heating up and doing all of its magic. Then you take it. What you've seen me do in this video, which I tell you don't do, is I had to take a blowtorch or whatever that little fucking gun is right there that shoots out fire. I had to take that thing and heat the resin up in the cup because I had so many fucking bubbles. And when you heat the top of the resin, it pops the bubbles massively. But you got to be extremely careful because it will also catch your resin on fire. So do not do what I do. That's why I stressed that earlier. I just don't know if I elaborated why you don't do what I do. So anyhow, after you pour the resin on top, these are what I would call doming pieces because I'm only doming the top of the wood. And if you've noticed, these are the little whimsical farts that I have for the game of shrooms. And then I want to say it's Springtime Bloom. So this is a pretty old video, if I can be honest, because these pieces are already hung in the shop and stuff. But doming these pieces is what I'm doing right now. I don't show you doing the second half of it, obviously. And I want to say after we get done doing wood, I jump into coating a little batch of baby rocks. Right now you'll see that my big face is looking over them to make sure that there is no bubbles or mishaps or any of that kind of stuff, because as you're heating it, the bubbles will still rise to the top. So now I know I'm going to put the cover over this here shortly and then jump onto the stones. What I forget to show you in the video though is I jump back over to that piece and I check it to make sure that it didn't get a bubble or 2 or 3 or 7 during the process of it setting while I'm doing the stones. I do believe while I'm doing the stones I fast forward this part, so it's going to be done really fast. And of course you don't even get to see the stones that I'm actually doing, but those stones are what I gift people when they order things from my shop. I don't do stickers or anything like that because a lot of people will just throw the stickers away. So I paint little tiny baby mushrooms on rocks, and they're like little tiny, I call them plant buddies. I sell plant buddies as well, but these are the little freebies that you get when you order something from Ginger Dreads. So I'm constantly putting resin on those things, or I'm constantly resining those little things because I have to produce those quite a bit, because I just, sometimes you see a kid out and about and you want to hand them a little mushroom, you know, things like that. Keep little things like that on your person all the time too, because kindness is something that people just absolutely strive on, and I don't feel like we have enough of that in this world. So anytime that you can hand out a little something nice or hide it somewhere for someone to pick it up, just do it. I promise you won't be saddened, and you'll make someone's day. That I promise to. But anyways, this was a really fast, short, sweet, and oh my god, another video by Ginger Dreads. She's on a freaking roll. Clap your hands, folks, because yeah, it's shocking me too. But anyways, I know I'm coming to the end of this. I'm gonna sign off. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in, as always. I want to thank you guys for doing all the likes, shares, subscribes, and all of the little fun stuff that comes along with YouTubing. Remember to be kind to yourself. Remember to be kind to each other. Remember to keep your paintbrush on the canvas. And from now on, going forward, I'm going to do well wishes. And I feel we need to wish well each other. We need to wish well that I don't know. I just feel like wishing well is great for the world. It's great for the energy in this world. And so for me, to you, I wish you guys extra abundance, extra happiness. I wish wellness for you and your loved ones. And I wish for you guys to smile continuously every day. And for that, my friends, I will see you guys in the next video. And until next time.